Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and we are back with another fantastic Speed Duel finish. This individual got first today, the Attack of the Giant card, and third place yesterday. What's your name and what were you playing?
My name's Aaeon Forrest, and I was playing Warrior Parasite.
Absolutely. First off, do you have any shout-outs after your impressive victory?
I'd like to shout out my team, Team Idea. Me, Indy, Evan, David. We've topped every YCS. And we go to a lot of them, so it was a lot of fun. And I'd like to shout out, Mike Steinman and my buddies, Ben. We got Marco Merkanjic, Danique DeJong, Ryan Atlas, Lex Law with the Speed Duel League doing great stuff, Neotran, Andre Aguirre, all the guys that I've played with and played this with to get better at the league. But yeah, we kind of make what the community is, and I'm happy that I got to be a part of it and be friends with those guys.
Wow, all right, sounds good. You want to get into the deck?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Alright, so for starters, we have the skill, the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. Pretty much every top deck is playing it. It's an immediate +2 where you are allowed to send any insect monster that has an equip card on it back into the deck, and then special summon out any insect monster from your deck. And then the second effect is put an insect monster back into the deck and draw a card. And that's where you can send your opponent's monster, which makes them lose a card, and then you draw a card, and that's the +2. Sometimes you have to use it on your own monster, so it could be a +1, but that's a massive +2. You bring out a massive beat stick that I'll show you guys later that basically wins you the game because you only have 4,000 life, and the monster you bring out is 3,500 attack. Everybody's running this right now. It's probably the best skill in the game by far. Usually skills have restrictions that don't allow this OTK to kind of happen, like they cut damage in half, but this one doesn't, and that's what makes it really, really strong. So going into the monsters, the warrior side that makes it Warrior Parasite is we have 3 Gearfried. This used to be Blade Knight like formats ago, but because there's an equip card in the game that's very, very powerful, he cannot be equipped with equipped cards, what makes it very awkward for your opponent to play around him. He's also 1800 attack, the strongest 4-star. Blade Knight has 16, but he can go up to 2k, but this is the strongest 4-star monster in terms of attack power, 1800 base attack power. So, and he can't be equipped, that's what makes him really good. Other one that's kind of his duo in crime is the Command Knight, or partner in crime. Also a massive warrior, he's 1619, gives a boost to all other warriors, so Gearfried can go up to 22. And then 1900 defense, so in mirrors, if they have Gearfried and you have Command Knight, they can't get over it, and it's super awkward for them. Super awkward for a lot of decks to get over. If you get 2 out, his only other effect is that you cannot attack him. So if you get 2 out, your opponent's locked, and a lot of stuff in Speed Duels can't get around that. They can't attack, they can't do anything. And they are forced to play some sort of removal card to get through it. Otherwise, they just go to deck out and pretty much lose. They're also 2,000 attack, which, you can't attack them, and they're just swinging at you the whole time. It's very, very awkward, and can also stop the Paranoid play, which I'll show you guys later. Then we get into the equip card that I was talking about, Parasite Paranoid. His effect is that he comes out of the hand and can equip to a monster on the field, and then he will turn that monster into an insect. That's pretty much the only relevant part. There's a little bit more to it, but that's the only relevant part, that you then tribute off whatever monster you equipped it to, and then you get to special summon out an insect from your deck. That's incredibly powerful. That's what the Command Knight, if you're locked, your opponent will have to play their Parasite to get rid of it, because it's one of the only ways to remove monsters in the game, so that's why Command Knight's pretty good, is it can force your opponent to Paranoid first, and then bring out their big insect, and then you hit them with your own insect, and they lose. So basically it's kind of like you're in a situation where whoever Paranoids first is going to lose, if the opponent then has a follow-up Paranoid. But this card's super strong, probably shouldn't have been added to the game, to be honest, and it's what makes the skill. These 2 in combo are just wrecking the format. And then the monster that you want to bring out is the Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, strongest insect in the game right now. The next one's only 2800 attack and 1500 defense, Metal Armored Bug. Nowhere near as oppressive. This thing's 3500 attack, 3000 defense. Very, very difficult to deal with this once he's out. And yeah, so that's the insect that you want to target with your Paranoid play. And then we run 2 Hyper Hammerheads. A lot of people run, this is just tech at this point, you're just running monsters that help you deal with the format. Some people do Man-Eater Bugs, some people do Amazoness Trainee. Hammerhead, just anything he battles gets bounced. 1500 attack, super relevant against Gravekeepers who set a monster with 1500 defense. If that monster is destroyed or goes to the graveyard at all, they search their boss monster. This guy has 1500 attack. Recruiter is the Gravekeeper, has 1500 defense. You swing this into Recruiter, it bounces the Recruiter, they get nothing. Super, super hard counter. That's pretty much what won me the finals, was I kept bouncing his Recruiter and he never got to search his boss monster. And then I summon other monsters besides Hammerhead and just overwhelm the board. He doesn't see his boss monster, he loses. And then one last tech card was Sasuke Samurai. In the main deck, he just destroys anything face down. Stall is another deck. It's kind of funny that, you have OTK decks running around, but then you also have stall decks that try to just stop the OTK. They set a bunch of monsters. Sasuke destroys anything that's set, which plays around flip effects mainly, like Man-Eater Bug and obnoxious things like that, Mask of Darkness that help recycle their traps, and it just gets them off the field. So 1 in the main deck. And then we have 2 Night Beams, and I'm just going to add these here, 3 Dust Tornadoes. This is, your monsters are some of the biggest in the game. You have Gearfried and Command Knight. They are pretty much the biggest 4-star guys in the game, and so you just overwhelm your opponent because they need back row to deal with these if they're not also playing Warrior Parasite. They're the ones that need the back row to deal with your bigger monsters. This means that they don't have any back row, which means it's their monsters versus your monsters. Your monsters are bigger, you win. So yeah, and then it also helps immensely with stall. Just get rid of their back row, and then you're just swinging for game. You can win in like 2 turns roughly, so they're in a very awkward spot. And then the other one is Paranoid equips. Dust Tornado will destroy the Paranoid and make sure that they cannot activate the skill to put you in a really bad spot. So tons of back row hate in this deck, which helped a lot because my finals was against the stall player. And then 3 Windstorm. This is mostly just to stop OTKs, where it's if they make the Moth and they go for game, you need to stop that play, otherwise you're going to lose. Windstorm stops the play, and then you follow up with your own Paranoid, and that's what gets you the win. It also helps immensely against stall because sometimes they'll have little guys on the board in defense mode, like Yomi ships or something that have 800 attack, and it's very you can Windstorm those into attack mode and then hit them for massive damage, especially if you have, where is he? A Moth on board. So this also helps against stall again. And that is the main deck. 22 cards, solely because some people were running 20, and then if you ran 21, you win the deck out. Now people are running 21, and so you run 22 so that you beat the 21s at deck out. And it's just, eventually maybe people start running 23, 24, I don't know. But that's 22 in the main deck. And then going into the side, you're allowed a 6-card side. In Speed Duel, so we've got 2 Amazoness Trainee. Just for stall, it puts back anything that it hits. So it doesn't work against flip effects. So if you have this versus Man-Eater Bug, it sucks. But if you have it versus like Recruiter, for example, they both have 1500 attack versus defense, but you can boost it with Command Knight. It can put back Recruiter. It can put back Hammerhead. It can put back Zombina if it can get over it. It can put back Yomi Ship. It's just good versus stall decks, basically. And then Vampire Lord. Also good versus stall decks, or decks in general that run Floodgate Trap Hole, which locks your monsters face down. This deck has no way to do anything. Like my board, I only get 3 monster zones. They're locked. I can't do anything with that. So Vampire helps tribute them off. But against stall, if this guy dies, he comes back. If he dies by anything, any card effect, he comes back onto the field. So against stall that are running like Yomi Ships and Man-Eater Bugs, they have no way to out this guy. They have Michizures. Their only way to get rid of a monster with 2000 attack is to destroy him. If you destroy him, he will be back next turn. Yesterday I won my top 4 match, or I won my 3rd, 4th place match and got 3rd place because of this. I was going to lose that matchup 100%. It was horrible for my deck, but I had 2 Vampire Lords at the time, and he just couldn't out them because they just keep coming back. 3rd Hammerhead, because I know people were running Gravekeepers. This was not my deck yesterday, but it wasn't my deck today because I just saw how many people were relying on Recruiter searches and Zombinas, and this guy just eats those alive and stops the entire play. So 3rd Hammerhead. 1 Air Assault, it destroys insects on the field, and insects are just everywhere. So it's another out basically to their Moth once they make it. If I can clear it, then I go back to having the biggest monsters in the game and just win. And then lastly, a Twister, a tech choice to add to the Dust Tornadoes and the Night Beams, because I know that a lot of people were playing stall, things like Mask of a Curse, Spellbinding Circle, Insect Neglect was one that Mike Steinman was running, and it's like I need to pop face-up cards. Night Beam can't pop them, so I have a Twister that gives me 3 Dust, 1 Twister. I like those odds of being able to destroy face-up cards and not get stalled out. And then I don't have an extra deck. Some people run one because Waking Dragon is in the game, which is a card that if it gets popped, you get to special summon anything from the extra deck. I didn't, you can bluff an extra deck to make them think you have Waking the Dragon. I didn't because I was lazy and I had to like pull cards out of my collection. I was like, whatever. And it worked out, so.
Yeah, apparently you didn't need it.
Yep, didn't need it, thank God.
All right, well, any final thoughts on your massive finish?
I'm super excited. Today was my day, good games to everybody that I faced off against. Thanks for doing the deck profile. And yeah.
All right, sounds good.